Okay. Friday, June 27th. June's almost done. Headed up to Campton to return the videos we rented. Kids rented Toy Story 3 and movie Cars. Cars wasn't all that good, really. They lost interest in that pretty fast. They loved Toy Story 1 and 2. I think 3 was a little bit over their heads. They watched it, but they kind of got bored, like, halfway through. Their favorite is Toy Story 1, I think, is just a lot more basic, for little kids to understand. I thought Toy Story 3 was hilarious. It's about, 70. Got the induction on. Feels good. Nice and cool. So yesterday I checked out we checked out this Chinese restaurant, which is really good. I think it was like Yoon Soon or something like that there in Franklin. It's near a place that I wanted to check out called Smitty's Game Lab and Cinema, I think. So the Game Lab parts, like, they have an arcade of sorts. I wouldn't call it an arcade. And next to the arcade, there's a bar and darts, and then there's axe throwing. This is a bad idea. I mean, I know the axe throwing thing's like this hipster thing, and it's cool, but, like, do it in your freaking yard. If you're gonna drink beer and throw axes, don't put it next to somewhere where kids are playing. They didn't even have, like, a cage behind them. Now, I've used axes and hatchets, which is what they really are, for many, many decades. For a few decades. And they've slipped out of my hands. There was one time I was splitting wood for somebody, my wife's aunt, and the axe slipped out of my hand when I was splitting wood for her and freaking hit her car and left a good dent in it. I'll never live that down. Here you are trying to help somebody. Alright? That was not one of my finest moments. But anyway, it happens. So, like, the fact that there's no cage around these throwing lanes, there's cages dividing the throwing lanes, but there's no cage behind the throwing lanes where all the kids are playing. So, that made me a little nervous. I'm not sure I'll bring my kids back there because of that. It's an arcade. The kids are all running back and forth, checking out all the machines. And I have never been to a modern arcade. I had no idea how it works. There's, like, nobody in there really helping you. It was early, so I think they were still opening up and everything. But yeah, I'm going to guess it's like that Dave & Buster's place, which I've heard of. I've never been there, but you go in there, they have this machine where you swipe your credit card and choose an amount. If you do 20, you get like a bonus amount of credits, and it prints out a card for you. And then you use this card that has all these credits on it, You use that instead of tokens or quarters. It's all right, but the games are so expensive. So all the games, they're either ticket games or I don't know what almost like amusement rides. You know, they're racing games, but the cockpit moves all over the place. It's pretty cool, but the one my son really liked was 32 credits. That equates to $4 a play. And these games are so greedy that even if you get first place, you still got to keep swiping to play. So it's $4 a play every time. It's insanity. I don't care. I mean, that sucks. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to find a really fast way to burn through $20, go to one of those places. I think that lasted maybe 10 minutes. At $20, as opposed to Fun Spot, where you spend $20 and you could, I got tokens still left over from the last time I went to Fun Spot. The machines aren't as greedy. I mean, they had Space Invaders, the big Space Invaders game with the big screen, and you can play 2 players. It's a very fun game. I like that. They have that at Fun Spot. Fun Spot has a lot of those newer games. And even those at Fun Spot aren't as greedy. I think that the one at Smitty's, the Space Invaders game there, I think was $2 a play. I believe it was 16 credits. Whereas the one at Fun Spot is only $1. It's still a lot, but they also they didn't have one coin-operated classic game. They had no classic arcade games. And classic, at this point, would be even stuff from like the 90s, Neo Geo or X-Men or Turtles or any of those Capcom, Konami games. They had nothing like that. It was all just this cash grab stuff. Pretty lousy. But the atmosphere was great. And it's just exciting to be in a place like that. I love going to any kind of arcade or cinema in the summer. It just brings back so many memories. It was weird. It was like, it kind of scratched the itch for me, but because I love Fun Spot, but around this time of year it's just so packed, and I don't really like crowds. So it's hard for me to be bitter about it. It was fun. The games were fun. They were just outrageously expensive. So the ticket system was interesting too. So when you scan your card and you win tickets, it keeps track of them on your card, so you don't have to walk around with a bunch of tickets. But I like the tickets, to be honest with you. I don't mind the tickets. It's kind of fun. You go to Fun Spot, you get all those tickets, and then feed them into the machine. And then it prints out a receipt, that's fun. Massachusetts, Maine. But yeah, I wish there were more smaller arcades around. This place up here in Campton's really cool. I love this place. I wish there were more places like this kind of closer to where I am. When I was a kid, we had an amazing place that Burger King used to do. I don't think they do it anymore. It used to be called Burger King Castle. And it was one of the best arcades. They had a ball pit. They had a party room with animatronic stuff. Um, were at like a stage and they had like animatronic band members. You could put a quarter in or whatever and watch them play while you eat. Um, the they had all the newest arcade games. So back then it was Ninja Turtles and Simpsons, X-Men, the big 4-player deal. Or X-Men I think was even more. It was like 6 players. Almost missed my turn. But yeah, we had that arcade. I lived in Cheshire. That place was in Meriden. It's kind of the town right next to it. And then they had another place. It was either Meriden or Wallingford. I think it was called Crazy Eights. There was a pool hall / arcade, and then in Southington there was another arcade. That was a pool hall / arcade, and then all the showcase cinemas, which there were many, they had all really nice arcades in them. So there was always like a nice arcade to go to in the summer. Those hot, humid days, you could just go into an arcade and have a blast. Around here, forget it, man. Even the movie theater, there's a couple movie theaters, they don't really have much. They have like 1 or 2 machines. There's horse people thinking they own the world. Those are Democrats, by the way. Just FYI. In New England, in case you don't know, in case it's your first time watching, in New England, all the rich people are Democrats. That's how it's always been. I don't know if it's different anywhere else. Because I never understood people talking like Democrats are for the working class. I've ever, my entire life, it's never been the case. Democrats in New England are the people that buy acreage out in the middle of nowhere, build some kind of contemporary house, and hide away from society until they're called by their dark lords to infiltrate and vote. So I got a bit of a chip on my shoulder. That's what those people did right there. Where they're telling me to go slow, which I always do anyway around horses. That's not even the worst that I've had happen. I was in my truck one day back when I lived in Connecticut. I'm going down this country road, trying to find some access points to a hunting field. And, geez, I must have only been going like 15 miles an hour. I got yelled at by some barn witch telling me to slow down. But since I'm borrowing that nomenclature from my favorite YouTuber, Rick Gore, I'll say something else that Rick likes to say. It's outrageous. Outrageous. Uh, so now, so viewers understand this whole area of New Hampshire. New Hampshire originally was fairly staunch Republican, and as the rich city people moved in, it started changing. And it started as it normally does at the border down south in the shore. The what do they call it? Coastal elites. It's a thing. I've said this before. I don't know if it's just rich people just buy the nicest spots, I guess. But yeah, so it was that area first, and they started moving up. As they started, it's like they started metastasizing. The cancer started metastasizing, and it just started swallowing up more and more of the state, all the way up to central New Hampshire now. So around this area, this is all Republican territory. So these rich city people come in, they buy whatever houses are available, they buy whatever land's available, and they start changing the area. Now you have to understand, whether it doesn't matter what side you vote on, but you have to see the logic of the situation. Okay, you're moving into an area because it's nice. Maybe you should think about what made that area nice. Maybe you should look at the trail that you're leaving behind. Look at what happens when you take over an area and start voting the way that you vote. Maybe you'll start to see that it's a path of destruction, isn't it? So, yeah. My life has literally been moving to an area where I could be free and there's a lot of wilderness, to then having to escape that area because too many of those people moved in and ruined it. It's happened to me, I think, only 2 times now. But I feel it's going to happen a 3rd time, the way things are going. I'm too old to keep doing that. I got kids now. It's just painful, that's all. It's very painful to see it in Connecticut. So the town I lived in originally was staunch Republican, and eventually it made it to Forbes, saying it was one of the best places to live in the country. Well, guess what happened? Yep. All the New Yorkers. My mom was talking to her the other day. She said everyone she knew who just came to the town, they were all from New York. So what happens? Well, let's look at it. They had to have a McDonald's. They had to have a shopping center. They built up this, so they raised taxes. They built up all this stuff. The sprawl started to happen. Brand new McMansions going up everywhere. And it completely changed this beautiful little town known for its apples into basically a suburb of New York City, which is what eventually happened pretty much to all of Connecticut. There's a few red towns that are holdouts. One of them is the town I'm from. Okay, the town next to it also, which is the best bird hunting probably in the entire country. But it's only a matter of time. When we sold our house, they were building apartments right next to the railroad track, the Amtrak that goes to New York, just to give you an idea. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be an a-hole. You just have to see things from my eyes, my experience. I know everyone's entrenched in their views. To a lot of people, politics is their religion. I'm definitely somewhere in the middle. But the number one thing that makes me different than what I think a moderate is I am a constitutional conservative. I think you're crazy to try to renegotiate terms at this point. That Constitution is your treaty against your government. You don't give up any of those rights. I don't care if you don't agree with them. My biggest issue with people that vote Democrat is their view on the Second Amendment. It's a Second Amendment for a reason. I would say it's first, but they think it's a dream. They think it's some fantasy that our government is or is going to become tyrannical. I say you should look at history, but some of these people like that. They like being, a little soldier in an imaginary army. They like the idea, the progressive socialist idea of having this, synchronized society. It's just not human nature. That's as unrealistic as saying we shouldn't have any government. People need to understand your Constitution, your relationship with your government is uneasy at best. It's a necessary evil. And your job as a citizen is to continue to keep that government in check. I think we can all agree that we don't want to live in the Wild West. I think as much as I like the idea of anarchy, I think the idea is actually really good, and I think we can this country kind of took that idea and improved it, I believe, because you got to understand, if you have no law or way to enforce that law, you're going to have a power vacuum. That power vacuum is going to get filled one way or the other. Now, that law can be the people, but you have to have written law. Clear written law. And clear punishment. Yes, the fascist way. If you look up the history, of course I don't want the imperial mindset of the Romans. I don't agree with that kind of expansion. Because to what end? It's a great dream, again. It's a nice dream to have everyone moving in perfect synchronization, but it's not going to happen. It's better to put aside that dream, live in reality, and make laws accordingly. According to reality, I think the Founding Fathers, their greatest talent was knowing human nature because they knew their history. We're almost there already. Gosh, I'm making good time. Thought about coming here with the family, but I'm like, no, I'm going to take my morning ride up here. It's so nice out today. I actually really like this area. So this area, Campton, reminds me of the town I grew up in. It's just like a lot of cool things to do for kids. There's a lot of stuff for kids. There's a lot of nature. But from what I understand, I was talking to a selectman from Campton, and back to our political discussion, he said that it's getting taken over. They're so well organized that they have an app that tells them about every little thing that the town is thinking of doing, or when to go vote, and they just like hit the button, and everyone goes down. Democrats, that is. I was talking to guys like, it's so cool to have something like this here, an old video rental place, computer shop. It's like, yeah, I mean, I just keep it going because I got nothing else to do. I hope he keeps it going for a while. This is a little bit sad. I bought a couple movies from him. I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Saw that in the theater when it came out, and I don't think I've seen it since. And then Home Alone. Because people don't even wave. That's the second guy I've waved to on a spider that don't wave. They don't even know motorcycle etiquette. Forget about it. Paddle boat. Pedal boat? Pedal boat. 55 to 30. And I'm going 70. It's a good place to get pulled over. A lot of cops out today, so. Like they're just in this ride, I've seen 4 cops. Got speed checking bullshit here. I kind of wish I filmed more of the places I go to. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, you know. I guess I could have asked them, like, hey, do you mind if I film a little bit? But that's kind of putting them on the spot. I'm very sensitive about stuff like that. Call me crazy, but I'm just like super low key, and I like people that are super low key. I don't like any kind of buffoonery. It's the cynic. It's the cynicism my father transferred over to me. Watched some X-Files last night. God, that show is hilarious. I never realized, like, those cheesy synth strings, how much it sounds like PlayStation, like the original Resident Evil. Which came first? I was wondering about that. Oh, that was a dead kitty. Oh. Oh, it smells so good right there. Honeysuckle, I think. Or mountain laurel? One of those things. I had those growing up outside my bedroom window. That's what I thought they're grading. That's it, right? Hopefully they get up. Oh, shit. Fuck. Kind of the worst place to catch them. Let's see if I can get his attention on this side. Which way you going, bud?